Aren't you guys so cute? Hey, Mama. Are you sleepy? Oh, such a sleepy boy. Morning. It's really early this morning, and we had a killing frost last night, so I'm trying to get these peppers dealt with and put in the freeze dryer so that I can move on to the rest of the things in my garden. And so I haven't freeze dried peppers before like this, so I'm really excited to see how they turn out. But I didn't have a lot of bell peppers or hot peppers this year. My plan was to do a lot of canning and pickling, especially banana peppers. I was hoping to make hot pepper rings, but that didn't happen. So I'm just gonna freeze dry and just see what we can come up with. But what I'm planning to do is my freeze dryer is a medium, so it has 4 trays. And what I would like to do is do 1 tray of sweet peppers or bell peppers, 1 tray of hot peppers, 1 tray of sausage meat or taco meat, and 1 tray of eggs. So then I can assemble assemble little pouches or packages so I can use those for camping or when we go boating. I can use that so I can kind of package them up into little serving sizes or individual serving sizes, so then I can reconstitute and make wraps and such on camping trips or on days that we have early breakfasts and no time to prep kind of thing. Or when just as a convenience food more so it's done. I just have to add water, let it sit, and then cook it up. No chopping required, no refrigeration required kind of thing. And that's kind of where my plan is right now, is to just do some meal preps so that I have some shelf-stable breakfast solutions for when we're camping and boating, or on days when it's just really, really busy and I didn't have time to thaw any food out, or when my chickens stop laying, and because it's getting cold out, when my chickens stop laying, sometimes it's nice just to have this stuff on the shelf. So that's my plan with my pepper harvest, is to freeze some, freeze some, and do some meal prepping for later in the season. They're so tiny. I was wasting nothing. Waste not, want not. That's what my mom and my grandma used to always say. Each of my freeze dryer trays will hold 18 eggs. However, I do have some very small eggs compared to the other ones. So, well, this one's not quite small. It's kind of a medium-sized egg, but I do have some teeny tiny eggs in comparison. So I'm gonna try to do 2 trays of eggs, and whatever doesn't fit, I'm just going to put them into muffin tins with some ham and peppers and some seasonings, and I will actually pop them in the oven, bake them up, and put them into the freezer for meal prep. I lost count. I'm sure I'm doing this wrong to someone's standards, but you ain't gotta eat my foods. The egg cracking police out there today. That's a bit. I still have lots left over, but I will do some other things. So for this, I'm just going to whisk it up, take it downstairs, pour it into the tray, and start the freeze drying process. So we have fresh eggs to take with us camping and boating and on trips whenever we're going someplace, and don't have to worry about packing refrigeration when we're off grid. So my medium-sized freeze dryer is complete, and from its previous cycle, I had run a defrost cycle on it. The last time, what did I have in here? I had, beans. I freeze dried some purple purple beans, purple like, you know, green beans, purple green beans, that makes sense. So what happens is I open the valve and I run a defrost, and then it drains into this pail. And as you can see, first I'm going to close this valve. As you can see though, this water, it's in a dirty bucket, like the bucket itself is stained, but the water is really clean and it has no odor. It smells clean and all the things. And that's how much water come out of the beans. Now, I don't know if there's a measure in here, but this is like, is there a measure? There usually is in these horse buckets. There usually is a line. It's just under 2 liters, I guess, of water come out of the beans that I freeze dried in here. I guess it's probably, well, this is 1 liter. Now that I'm seeing it a little clearly, it's 1 liter of water on the measure in the bucket. It's hard to see in the camera, but that's basically it. So what I do is I'll go dump this out and start the next cycle. And just check the oil on our pump, the Harvest Right pump here. It's all good, oil's good. So I'm gonna start this cycle. So my defrost is complete, so we're done. So it comes to this home screen. This is this little blinking thing. It says it's time to change the oil. I have an upgraded pump, so I don't know how to upgrade it so it knows that I have an upgraded pump. I think it's a software thing. I have to go sit down and do it. Once I get through harvest, then I will sit down on the Harvest Right website and figure that out, but I'm gonna start it. So Harvest Right, do not mix frozen with non-frozen trays. So we're gonna start with non-frozen. Load the food into the freeze jar and close the drain valve. So you've seen I already did the drain valve. So now I'm going to open the freeze dryer unit. Open it up. And load the trays. I just want to make sure that they're clean. There's nothing in there. So we're gonna put the peppers on the top. Peppers going in on top. And I'm sorry that the camera is turned this way. My phone is locking. I don't know. I would normally have a different angle. Just bear with me. We have more peppers that come out of the garden. So that's 2 trays of peppers going in. And then I have, oh, we lost a pepper. And then I have 2 empty trays. Now the 2 empty trays are for my liquids, which are the eggs. So it's easier. So I mean, I'm not the most graceful person in the world. So I'm doing it this way. I'm just gonna move the light 1 sec. Okay, so this is the part where you want to make sure your freeze right is really, really level. Alternatively, this would be the part where you would be pre-freezing your ingredients. I just want to make sure I don't overfill my tray. I'm just going to pull this other one out a little more. Yeah, I should have pre-froze my trays in the freezer, and then that way I could have just popped them in here frozen. But I didn't, because then that would require me making room in my freezer, and I just don't have time to do that today. Alright. So each tray will hold 18 eggs, and I'm not going to fill it any more than that. Just simply because I think they might puff up, and this is my first time doing this with eggs this way. And I have my garden veg in here as well, so I just really want to make sure that I don't overfill my trays. I'm gonna set them in there nice and neatly. So there we go. We have 2 trays of eggs from my free-range chickens, and 2 trays of, well, 1 tray of sweet peppers and mixed with bell peppers, and 1 tray of jalapeno peppers and hot banana peppers. And so I'm just gonna get ready to go here. One of the things that I always like to do is make sure that I have a fan running to keep the pump happy, because it does get hot. So I will turn that fan on and stuff, but I'll just walk you through the cycle. It's an intuitive cycle. So right now it's showing that it's 65 degrees Fahrenheit inside the chamber. The chamber is locked. And so we close the drain valve so we know that it will have vacuum once it starts freezing. So it'll go through a freezing cycle, and it's gonna time it. Up there you'll see there's a timer going, how many seconds or how long it's in the cycle. So I'll probably come check it in 12 hours and see how it's doing. It'll probably take at least 20 hours, I would assume, somewhere around there. I guess I should turn my fan on. There. Okay, so we are done our cycle. It is intuitively telling us that the cycle has completed. It has been running for 24 hours. The reason I do know that this was done a little sooner than 24 hours into it, but I had to do some other things and I wasn't able to get to this process. So I actually let the trays warm up so I could go do my things and handle these trays so they're not really cold. So I'll show you what we do next. First, we always want to test the food and then decide whether it needs more time or not, or if we're able to defrost. So it says process complete, open drain valve to vent. So what that means is to just make sure that there's no water in the bucket because it's a vacuum. So I want to make sure that this is not going to touch. And then it's going to open. And once all the pressure is released and the vacuum has released itself, now it's safe to open the door. Now it's still really chilly in here because there's a whole bunch of ice and stuff built up, like that's all ice in along there. So the first thing I want to do, oh, the trays are still a little bit chilly. I want to make sure that it doesn't feel cold, and I want to make sure they're crisp and they're just crumbling apart. These are well done. They just crumble into pieces. So those seem to be okay. Oops. They seem okay. And the sweet peppers, they are the same thing. They're really crumbly. They're good. We'll check the eggs. Now, I wanted to handle the peppers before I touch the eggs because these are raw eggs, remember? So I'm just touching them. They feel like they're not, there's no temperature to them. And they're crunchy. I think that, let's see. See the texture of them? They just crumble. They're flaky, that means they're done. So I'm gonna pull these out and we'll package them up. So before I pull these out, I am going to just hit defrost. Remove the product from dryer, close the door for defrost. So we'll do that. See, my one corner didn't get filled all the way. So my freeze dryer is really unlevel. I didn't realize how unlevel it was. Huh, now I know. So it took a long time, a little longer, because this was deeper than the end part, so it had more to dry on this side, and that probably didn't dry very even. I did not realize that was so unlevel. Look at all the ice in there. This is like really cold. I clean it after. There's bits and pieces of peppers in there. So I'm gonna close it and I'm gonna let it run its cycle. I'm not gonna show you because you've seen what the defrost looks like when I first started, and then it actually just drains into the bucket. How did that get up there? It must have been when I released the vacuum. It's dry. So anyway, we're gonna push continue and it'll start to heat up and it'll melt all of the ice, and it'll be a 2-hour cycle. So in 2 hours from now, all of the ice should be melted and I can put another load into the freeze dryer. So yeah, let's go get these packaged up. Okay, so I want to get these packaged up as quick as possible, but I always wanted to make sure that you get your supplies ready if you are doing this kind of project like I am. What I like to do is I like to get all of my jars that I'm putting stuff into, or my Mylar bags for long-term storage, and I get it all together. Today, I don't have time to food prep, so I'm just going to put these all in packages, and then later on when I have more time to go through and plan some meals and how we're going to use this stuff, I will use them up, but I'm probably just going to use this up in cooking. And the eggs, I will put them in Mylar bags. So I'm going to add some oxygen absorbers to each of the Mylar bags, and then they'll vacuum once I seal them. This sealer comes with the Mylar or the freeze dryer. So the nice thing about Mylar bags and this setup is that you can use some of them and then reseal it with this thing. So This will shrivel up, and I will write on here what's in here and how to reconstitute them. So got our oxygen absorber in there. It looks good. Check the seal. Give it another one. There. Done. So raw eggs is 1 tablespoon of egg powder to 3 tablespoons of water. And that's how you reconstitute them. So we have 2 Mylar bags of egg and a quart jar of hot peppers, spicy peppers for pretty much everything and anything. A little jar, I'm going to use these for cooking, making pepper flakes. So in recipes and stuff, I'll just keep these by my stove. And then this is 1 tray of the peppers that we grew in our garden this year, of the sweet peppers and the bell peppers. There's also black peppers in there. So I'm really happy with this freeze-dried harvest. I still got a lot of work to do ahead of me here. So I'm going to get to it and hopefully get some more harvest from my garden into my pantry. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope it inspires you to grow some of your own food and preserve what you grow. Much love. Oh, I should mention, because I know this question is going to come up, how long will these store for? If they are properly sealed and they vacuum with that oxygen absorber in there, these eggs will last on the shelf for 25 years. So that is a bonus.